Avatar, The Way of Water. If I only read this title, my first association would not be the James Cameron film. This may be due to the Avatar writer's less than stellar naming abilities.
Unobtainium.
Or it could be because I've spent the last 10 years directing animated shows and my mind is too far gone. In any case, I went to see Avatar, The Way of Water. 3 hours, 10 minutes and one bathroom break later, I can say I had a good time. Here are my thoughts in the form of the classic shit sandwich. Good, bad, and some more, mostly good, for conclusion. Also, when I watch other reviews and all I hear is the plot being told back to me, I find it pointless. So that will be kept to a minimum. Okay, here we go. Good. The VFX and character performances are so good. I just forgot it's not real and kind of accepted it. This may be part of why the other flaws of the film stood out more to me, because I didn't spend my time being wowed by the technical marvels I was seeing. To be clear, I do think the film is astounding on the technical and aesthetic level. The children characters are exceptionally well done. Acting and animation are seamlessly blended to create very specific personalities, believable performances, and social dynamics. I'm not going to dwell at all about the technical aspects of this film. Yes, they're amazing. I'm not qualified to explain any of them at all. There's going to be plenty of other channels and other people dissecting and explaining these things. Yeah, that's one of the main amazing thing about this film. But I will focus on more of the basic nuts and bolts. The love of nature of the creators is evident. The world of Pandora is rich, vibrant, and we get to explore more of it. James Cameron's love of sitting in submarines and observing underwater life is pretty clear. Spoilers ahead. Skip if you don't want to be spoiled, or yeah, you probably should have stopped watching now and come back when you've watched the film. Colonel Quaritch going through a similar journey to Jake's in the previous movie is a cool twist. He tames the flying beasts and does a couple more activities like Jake did in his training on the first movie. While this twist is cool, it slightly diminishes Jake's achievements because it seems like all the other Marines were able to do the same as Jake and tame all the flying dragon things. Surely some of them should not have made it just to make it seem more difficult. But anyway, it was cool. It was cool. Quaritch's story and his biological son Spider was quite interesting. Apparently Quaritch had a baby before he got shish kebabbed by Neytiri, and this human kid Spider grew up among the Na'vi with Jake and Neytiri's family. I thought it was very compelling and convincing to see Spider trying to decide where his loyalties lie. For me, this is actually the most interesting part of the movie. The part where Spider is getting scared of Neytiri and hiding from her as she takes revenge on the human soldiers for killing her son was chilling. When Spider realizes Neytiri would kill him to save her biological child, it is quite a powerful dramatic moment, and Spider is probably the most interesting character, in my opinion anyway, because he has the most inner conflict of all the characters. The bad. The movie is long and undisciplined, I would say. I wouldn't hesitate to say it requires an aggressive edit session with some significant cuts. There are lots of sequences of beauty shots that do not advance the plot enough. Did we really need a 45-minute training montage of all the underwater activities? At some point, I felt like I was watching a nature documentary. The sights of underwater Pandora are cool, but not much more fantastic than real Earth underwater life. I felt like the design team should have pushed the envelope more here. Bigger scope, more unreal creatures. Unreal, fantastical underwater landscapes. I was missing another giant animal or some force of nature that would turn the tide of battle once conquered. Yeah, I guess they were thinking of the whale for that, but it really didn't feel like what's his face? Loak was like Turok Makto after he befriended this whale. In many parts the film felt meandering from scene to scene without clear cause and effect linking the progression of the plot. How did Jake know that if he left, the humans won't just tear the forest villages apart in search of him, much like they did to the water villages. Yes, I get that the Flying Mountains area was very difficult for the humans to search because nature would turn against them. In that case, why did Jake need to run with his family in the first place? He could have used the terrain advantage for his resistance, same as he did in the previous movie. If we really wanted to change setting to the water area, I feel the reason should have been more convincing and clear. The climactic battle sequence felt meandering as well. Especially lacking was something to give more urgency to the whole thing, like a ticking time bomb. Here's somebody explaining it.
4 people are sitting around a table, talking about baseball, whatever you like. 5 minutes of it, very dull. Now take the same scene and tell the audience there is a bomb under that table and will go off in 5 minutes. Well, the whole emotion of the audience is totally different because you've given them that information. You've got the audience working.
Maybe the humans should have had some big plan to cripple a major site of Ewa, the collective consciousness / spirit of Pandora. And this should have been happening in the background to give everything else more urgency and focus. Like you have to save this big site from being destroyed, otherwise basically it's the end of the natural world or something like that. Quaritch's crew felt like they're going out of their way not to hurt Jake or his family, constantly capturing them for some vague reason. I thought the mission was to kill Jake. Why go so easy on him and his family? No clear focus on one story or character arc. The focus kind of dispersed between all characters equally, and there wasn't really one plot thread that appeared to be the main one. Sigourney's character, Kiri, wasn't really explored in a clear enough way, in my opinion. She's supposed to have some kind of special connection to the Na'vi nature spirit, to Ewa, but there aren't really enough clues as to what happened to make her this special. Why is she special? How was she born? What is the nature of her powers? None of it is remotely touched on. Like, no answers are given or starting to be given. And the other characters seem to not really dwell on any of her fantastical feats, which I found to be not very believable. Another plot thread that was given a lot of time was to Jake's kid Loak, who befriends an outcast whale. This really felt like another B story that competed with Kiri's B story, and both stories seem to have the same importance. Both don't really feel that necessary. Yes, the outcast whale ended up saving Jake and turning the tide of battle, but it all felt weirdly convenient and small in scale compared to the first movie's climax. I guess the whale was supposed to be the big predator that was tamed by Loak. It didn't feel big enough. Well, he was no Turk Makto in the end, or I guess a kid version of Turk Makto. Anyway, not big enough. I would have liked to see a more extreme all is lost low point before things turn around for the better. Maybe Jake's family should have been captured and Jake even killed to be saved by Kiri, bringing him back to life using her connection to Ewa. Then the family could have used their close bond and teamwork to save themselves and Pandora. Conclusion. People who say this movie is amazing are not wrong. People who say this movie is bad are not wrong. There's a good movie in there. It would be interesting to see fan edits of this film. It definitely feels like a lot of it could be cut and rearranged for a more streamlined narrative. I definitely enjoyed it. It was great to go back to Pandora and revisit the Blue Cat people. Cameron did a lot of things right with the Quaritch character, making him a more interesting and complex character, as well as his son Spider. I would want the movie to focus more on them. Maybe in the next one? Final verdict. If ever there was a movie meant to be viewed on the big screen, it's this one. Until next time, I see you.